Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Patronosaurus Reads. I'm Katie, aka Patronosaurus, and I read. Today I'm going to do the mid-year book Freakout tag. I've read a lot of books this year, and you guys don't know about them because I just started my channel, so I thought I would do a rundown of the highlights, the best, the worst, and we'll see what we've got. The first question is, what is the best book of 2019 so far? And the best book that I've read so far this year is Sadie by Courtney Summers. It is so good. It's not my favorite book, I don't think, because the subject matter is really dark, but it is objectively the best book. Sadie is about this girl named Sadie whose sister has been murdered, and then she disappears. And no one really knows where she went. And it's told in alternating chapters of her telling her story of where she went and what she did and what happened. And then the other chapters are the transcript from a true crime podcast, similar to like Serial, of someone trying to figure out where she went and following the clues and kind of trying to put the pieces together when he doesn't really know anything of why she left. He doesn't know her motivations. He doesn't know nothing. So Sadie is such a good book. It is really difficult to read. Trigger warnings for pedophilia, not on page, but it's definitely mentioned. Sexual assault, lots of crime, murder, death. It's a tough one, but it's a really good one, especially if you listen to the audiobook. That's what I did. I love podcasts, so I knew that I had to listen to it rather than just read it. And the podcast chapters are so good. Like, it sounds like someone is actually producing a podcast. It's excellent. Would recommend. The next question is, what is the best sequel of 2019 so far? And the best sequel I've read is, surprising no one, dun 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 dun, Gemina by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I've talked about this book in like every video that I've posted so far because I love this book. It's, again, Die Hard in Space. It is the second book in the Illuminae Files series, so if you haven't read the Illuminae Files, you have to read Illuminae first before you read Gemina, because that's how a series works. But I really love this series, and this one is my favorite. It's the second book, and it's very good. The next question is, what is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to? And following in the same vein of what I was just talking about, the new release that I want to read is Aurora Rising, again by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is also a sci-fi. It's about people who go to Space Academy. I don't totally know. I think it's people who, they're like a crew, and they're in space. I don't totally know what this is about, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be great. I've heard mixed reviews, so I'm nervous. It's not told in that same file format as the Illuminae Files. It is just a regular novel, so I haven't read that from Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman before. I've actually never read an Amy Kaufman book that she's written by herself. So I don't know what her writing style is going to be like and how this is going to mesh when the whole book is just regular text and not just some of it. But we'll see. I'm really excited about this. I'm really hopeful. The cover's gorgeous. The next question is, what is your most anticipated book for the second half of the year? And that is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is probably going to be a lot of people's answer for this. I'm so excited for Leigh Bardugo's adult debut. All of her other books have been YA, and this is adult. And she made it very clear. She's like, this is adult, when she announced it on Twitter and things were starting to really catch up. Maybe not when she announced it, but when the cover dropped and people started paying attention to it again. She's like, oh, just so you know, this is an adult book. It's about Yale and secret societies, and it has the snake on the cover. You guys know the snake that everyone was like, why is this snake on all these books? It's that one. The cover's gorgeous. I'm very excited to see what Leigh Bardugo's adult work is going to look like. I also need to get caught up on some of her YA books. But that's my most anticipated release of the second half of the year. Question number 5 is, what is the biggest disappointment of the year? And you guys are gonna crucify me. Oh no. It's Daisy Jones and the Six. I loved The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. It was my first exposure to Taylor Jenkins Reid's work, and I loved it, and I don't tend to like historical fiction, so for me to really like that book, I was like, oh, okay, so like this woman knows what she's doing. And then I read this. I was actually super excited because I went to my local independent bookstore, and they get ARCs from publishers, and you can check them out basically like you're at the library, except then you can keep them if you want to, and then if you don't want to, then you just return it and someone else can read it. So I got an ARC from there, and it's a signed ARC. Like, that's Taylor Jenkins Reid. She touched this book. So I was freaking out. And then I actually started reading it. And if you are unaware, this book is about a rock band from the 60s and 70s, not a real one, a fictional one, called Daisy Jones and the Six. And it kind of follows their rise to fame and then why they mysteriously broke up after a concert one night, and they never talked about it again. But it's all told in an interview format, so it's all just dialogue from characters, and I felt really disconnected from the story because of that. I'm gonna give this book another try on audio at some point, and we'll see if I change my mind. I've heard the audiobook is really incredible, so I will try it that way, and we'll see. But as of right now, I didn't love this. This format just really wasn't for me. Question number 6 is, what is the biggest surprise so far this year? And the biggest surprise for me this year was Pestilence by Laura Thalassa, which is one of the smut books that I read in May for some indiscernible reason when I read like a million of them. But I loved it. Like, I loved it. I loved the story. It was kind of the opposite of most smutty books for me, where I don't like the actual plot, but the sex scenes are good, so I give it like 3 stars. And Pestilence was kind of the opposite, where I thought the sex scenes were just okay, but I loved the overarching plot and like the character development and the relationships. It's about when the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are like, okay, it's apocalypse time, and Pestilence is the first one to ride out. This girl tries to kill him, and to punish her, he basically takes her prisoner and uses her as an example to anyone else to kind of deter them from trying to kill him as well, except then they develop feelings for each other, and it's really good. I can't believe I gave 5 stars to a smut book. Like, who am I? It was really good. Definitely surpassed my expectations a lot. The next question is, who's your new favorite author? It can be a debut author or someone who's just new to you, and that is Casey McQuiston, author of Red, White, and Royal Blue. I loved this book. Like, love this book. This book deserves all the hype it's been getting. You probably already know what it's about. It's about the first son and the Prince of England, and they fall in love, and it's great. And a lot of times with debut novels, you can tell. And I could not tell with this book. It was like a masterpiece. Like, I absolutely loved it. I loved every single second. I was smiling the entire time I was reading this book, except for when I was crying. But they were happy tears, not sad tears. And I am so excited to see what Casey McQuiston is going to do next. I will definitely read anything, absolutely anything that Casey McQuiston writes, forever and ever, amen. Number 8 is, who is your newest fictional crush? And I don't get those, really. I don't get book crushes, especially because most of what I read is YA, and I'm an adult woman, and I feel very weird about attaching my personal romantic attraction to a teenager, even if they are just a fictional character. Like, for me, I feel icky. I'm gonna change this prompt to who's your new favorite ship instead of Fictional Crush, because again, I don't have those. And my newest favorite ship is Fiona and Millie from Her Royal Highness. I don't know if you guys can sense a pattern in my taste of books lately, but I've been reading a lot of royal romances. And I think this is like a new favorite subgenre. Like, I just love this. They're always so happy and cute, and I especially love a female-female romance. And Her Royal Highness was such a cute book. I thought the relationship was a lot better developed than in Prince Charming. Like, I thought that one was okay. But Her Royal Highness really stepped it up. I loved the boarding school atmosphere. I loved seeing Fiona come out of her shell. I love seeing how Fiona and Millie get along together. I just really think they're very cute. And I'm excited to see them as kind of like a background couple in future books in this universe, because I'm assuming they'll continue to be like other characters in the same universe, and then we'll like see what previous characters were doing before. So I'm excited to see them in their natural habitat as a couple. I don't know. I'm really excited. They're cute. The next question is, who is your new favorite character? And I tried not to repeat a lot in this tag because I like to share my opinions on lots of different books, but for this one I just had to. So we're going back to Red, White, and Royal Blue because I love Henry. He is a cinnamon roll, which is what I tagged him in my Avatar: The Last Airbender book tag. If you haven't seen that and you want to, I will link it down below. He's very cute and a cinnamon roll, and he just is precious. I love Henry. I love him. That's all. Question number 10 is, what is a book that made you cry? And that is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This is far and away the book that made me cry the most. Like, I was ugly sobbing, like gave me a headache crying so hard. And I don't really know when that happened. And Adam Silvera does that with his books. I've also read his debut, More Happy Than Not. And that happened with that book. And this phenomenon also happened with this book, where I kind of wasn't feeling it in the beginning. And then as I kept reading, I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And then like something happens and my heart is ripped out of my chest. And I'm like, when did I start caring about these characters this much? When did this happen? What? So, I've also said in a video that I mentioned this book before, you absolutely are told what is going to happen in this book. They both die at the end. No matter how much you want them not to, they do. And it sucks. And talking about it, I'm about to start crying. Whew. The next prompt is, what is a book that made you happy? So instead of a book that made you cry, a book that made you happy. And I'm actually going to talk about a series because it's a graphic novel series, so it's not like it takes a long time to read. And that's the Lumberjane series by Noelle Stevenson and a lot of other people who only have their last names on the front cover of the books. But I love this graphic novel series. It's about these girls that go to this camp and they're learning wilderness skills and they're a group of best friends, except then weird things start happening and it's kind of weird supernatural stuff, but it's always very tongue-in-cheek and very funny, and I just love how quick and easy these books are and how cute their friendships are. And I just love it. And the art is really cute. It's nothing like fancy, but it's really cute, and I love the stylistic nature of it. So these definitely make me happy, and I can't wait to continue the series. The next question is the most beautiful book that you bought or received, and this is another one that I have 2 copies of, and they actually are 2 different covers, and that is Wicked Saints by Emily A. Duncan. This is an ARC that I won off of Goodreads, and it has the regular cover art, and then this is the Owl Crate edition, which is so stunning. I like both of them so much that when I was going through my unhaul and like trying to decide what I was going to unhaul, I was like, I didn't love Wicked Saints, but both copies are so beautiful. I have to keep both of them, especially because I do think I'm going to continue with the series, even though I didn't love this book. So I want to keep them at least until the second one comes out and I decide how I feel. But like this regular cover I like the white background with the blue. Like, I like that contrast and how it's very cool toned, which I think really fits with the physical setting, because it's in this very cold climate. Like, the beginning is set in a monastery in the mountains that you literally have to climb 7,000 steps to get to. So I think that it fits the physical location very well. And then this owl crate cover with the dark background and the red is just, like, it fits the mood of the book, because this is, like, a very dark, gritty, bloody fantasy. So I think both colors suit it really well, and I think it's incredible that this cover is so interestingly designed that they could change such a small amount, because, I mean, they just changed the colors, but being able to do that and completely change how the book looks and how it feels and which part of the story it reflects was really interesting. They're just so pretty. And the hardback has I love it when the Naked book has things on it. Like, I don't actually love this tagline that much, but whatever. And then it has these really gorgeous end papers, and this is also the letter from the author that came in the owl crate, but it has this gorgeous end papers. Like, you can just tell that a lot of care went into the design of this book, and I really appreciate that, because I like looking at pretty books, and this book is so pretty. The next and final question in the mid-year book freakout tag is, what are some books that you want to read before the end of the year? I don't make, like, yearly TBR goals. Like, I'm very much a mood reader, so I'm not like, I absolutely want to read these 12 books or whatever. But I do have a few that I have been wanting to get to for a while, and I've just kind of had them on the back burner. So that is Continuing the Wayward Children series by Shauna McGuire by Reading in an Absent Dream. I think that one is in, like, a Goblin Market fairy universe, which I love Goblin Market stuff, so I'm really excited about that. Aurora Rising, like I mentioned earlier. I really want to read An Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. It's out of my normal comfort zone. Like, I feel like it's going to be a very unique book, and I'm very excited about that. I also have been wanting to read... What else did I want to read? Oh! I took notes, and then I was like, I'll just, like, talk off the cuff for this part, and then I absolutely bungled it all up. The Wicked King, because I want to read the finale of, what's the series called? It's not just the Cruel Prince series, the Folk of the Air. I want to read The Queen of Nothing when everybody else does. Like, I want to be caught up. And Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. It's the only full-length novel of hers that I haven't read. And the last time I read a book in that series, in the Daughter Smoke and Bone series, was over a year ago. Because the US editions are ugly, and I don't want to own them. And Book Depository is currently sold out of Dreams of Gods and Monsters. So I have them, like, set to notify me when they're back in stock, because I really don't want the US covers. They're so bad. But I love Laini Taylor, and I love her writing, and I really want to finish this dang series. So I might have to suck it up. Or I'll just listen to the audiobook, because those are other audiobooks that are also really, really excellent. That's the mid-year book freakout tag. That's all I got. If you have any recommendations that you think I really need to make a priority to read in the second half of the year, let me know. If you agreed or disagreed with me on my opinions on books, let me know. Follow me on social media. Like and subscribe. That's the thing YouTubers say, right? Okay, bye.